Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flick Show. My name is Chris Wong. First of all, oh my god, Pacific Uprising trailer 2 was released today, this morning, and it is fantastic. It is awesome. There's so much action in there, it blows my mind, and actually a little bit more story. Although, do we really need story? This is about monsters fighting robots. Robots fighting monsters it's insane, insanity itself. And it's incredible actually, because the effects actually have been worked on. It's not perfect yet. I can still see it being more cartoony, but and that's only because it's shot in the daytime. If these robots, kaijus and Jaegers, were fighting in nighttime like the first Pacific Rim, then I think there wouldn't be a problem. But because it's in the daytime, it's harder to kind of muddle that. It's not actually at dawn or something like that where they can kind of hide the non-realism about that. But it is what it is, and it's cartoony-ish, but I still am excited to see it. There is a little bit more weight to the Jaegers this time around, and I actually feel that intensity, and also the war ready music, and it's just really, it's really uplifting. It's really impactful, and I'm really on the edge of my seat. Like, I'm cheering, I'm ready to cheer in this movie, because it seems like it's, you get up on your feet, you start cheering for humanity, you start cheering for the Jaeger pilots in this movie, in this type of movie. I'm all in, I'm all ready for this. And a little bit more of the story is that it looks like there's a mystery on who's actually opening up the breach for all of these kaijus to come in, and what is up with some of their armor, like kaijus having armor, or some kind of Jaeger evil Jaegers are out there. So I don't know what's up with that, but it does add a little bit of mystery to it, a little bit of trying to entice you to watch the film a little bit more to see what is actually going on with this. And I'm war ready to rise up for mechs versus monsters, Jaegers versus kaiju. March can't get here soon enough. Also, we have a little clip of actually Black Panther, and it's called Kinetic Energy, and it shows you a lot of the action scenes we've seen in the trailer. Also a scene where I don't know who that is. Is that his sister that actually gets into like a holographic vehicle and actually connects to an actual vehicle in the city? That's some futuristic stuff. Is it alien tech? What's going on here? And we actually see Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman running through the street, and T'Challa morphing into the Black Panther, and using, and when he's getting hit with the bullets, it like makes him more powerful enough to throw an EMP blast or some kind of kinetic blast after powering it up. That's tokusatsu level stuff. I'm really intrigued by that. And like I said before, it really reminds me of Power Rangers. So I'm really intrigued to see this movie now. Well, I was before. It was one of my highly anticipated movies of this year. And seeing some of that morphing action, seeing some of that awesome kinetic action, kinetic, I'm really looking forward to that as well. And on to the kind of brunt of the story topic that I wanted to discuss today. And it's really just an addition to what I said yesterday about Zack Snyder being back in the office. Now, a lot of you, I've seen your comments. I apologize if not be able to go through them all, but you have already qualified that he is actually at his personal gym and not an actual office at Warner Brothers. Although he could also be saying at the office, working on something, maybe in the privacy, or he's just working out. But having Jeffrey Dean Morgan's poster or painting in the background as Thomas Wayne is no accident. It's almost like he put it there intentionally, as someone had a photo of him before where that picture was not there before. So I don't know if he's just teasing anything, or he's just showing off his what he had, what he took from the movies that he's created. So I don't know whether that means anything or not. But just to think about it for a second, let's just play into it for a second. Let's just think about the possibilities for a second, okay? Now, I know there are many sides to the Zack Snyder, right? There's a side that hate him. They don't want him anywhere near DC movies. They don't want him near any movies whatsoever. Then there's the fans who love his work, absolutely love what he does. He thinks his masterpieces of art. Then there's the people in between who do like what he does, but feel that it's time for him to move on and have new blood within it, right? So, but if you look at Zack Snyder and his work, okay, you look at what he has done, we can all say, for the haters or the people who dislike it, and for the other people who do like it, and the people in between, all of us can all agree that his best work that he's ever done were, in fact, adaptations. Right? Dawn of the Dead, that was an adapted from George Romero's Dawn of the Dead. Watchmen, that was adapted from Alan Moore's Watchmen, graphic novel Watchmen. Even Frank Miller's 300, he adapted that graphic novel, that comic series, and made it into a movie. And those have been, we can all pretty much agree, less decisive and less hated on than the movies that he has created from scratch. Yes, Batman v Superman. Yes, Man of Steel. It took elements of different graphic novels, took elements of different comics and made it his own, but it wasn't a complete adaptation, which he's really good at, almost going frame by frame for Watchmen, for 300, and he has that artistic flair to him that makes it incredibly awesome to look at. It's incredibly beautiful and kinetic, and is really Zack Snyder-y, and that what we know now to be a Zack Snyder type film. So if we can all agree about that maybe his best work is when he's adapting something. And then I look at that Jeffrey Dean Morgan picture in the background. I look at what he has done by casting such people for Martha and for Thomas Wayne. It's in his mind, he has already intended, maybe one day I could either produce or work on Flashpoint. So let's think about that for a second. What if they were right? What if Toby Emmerich was actually truthful in his words from before? It says, if Zack Snyder wants to come back on anything, on any project, we welcome him in with open arms. If he's being really truthful about that, and this is the assumption that they are. The assumption that he's welcome back at any time. Flashpoint would be the perfect project for Zack Snyder. I really believe it to be. Because even for the haters who didn't like Batman v Superman, who didn't like Man of Steel, and for the people who did like it, we all can agree this is almost like an Elseworlds version of what the comics are, right? They're the Injustice version. They're even though we don't agree to that, but all of us agree to that, but for even the people who don't like it can agree, this version of Man of Steel, version of Batman Superman could actually partake in a universe and a reality within the DC multi. It feels like it's another Earth or whatever for them. And so with that in mind, Flashpoint is almost like a canon version of an Elseworlds, I guess, if you wanted to talk about it that way, because it's Flash making a mistake, altering a reality altogether, and turning everything backwards, upside down. We got Thomas Wayne, who is Batman, killing people. We've got Martha turned into Joker, Wonder Woman killing people, Aquaman killing people. You know, Superman is pretty much non-existent, but he's really a skinny lab rat taken in by the United States government. You know, it's so different from the universe we know and love that it's actually part of the story. And if for people who don't like how Zack Snyder makes out to be, I mean, he can actually adapt Jeff Johns' Flashpoint, adapt it into a movie, and it'll be okay. It's more accepted because of the characters that are so different in that movie. Is an alternate reality of the DCU that the theater goers know now. They know. They're not dumb, okay? They know when you go watch this movie, at the beginning you see the Justice League work together. Suddenly Flash wakes up and all of a sudden everything is different. They know something's up and they're intrigued to find out what changed. They're intrigued to find out why did it change? Where's the butterfly effect in that? And so they're going to be in it. And then towards the end of the movie, when everything comes back around and he changes timeline and fixes everything, it's all back to normal. There is no controversy anymore. There is no controversy. It's like, whoa, Batman's killing people, and why did Superman do the Wonder Woman? We knew that's not the Wonder Woman we knew and loved, because they are watching the movie with the knowledge of before that this movie is intended to be an alternate reality, but it fixes itself at the end of the film. So with that in mind, it's an adapted story that has already taken place. And with the visual effects and how Zack Snyder is able to copy some of those artistic frames to make his own elegant artistic flair to it, it could become an incredible, awesome visual effects affair. And I'd rather have Zack Snyder do it instead of those two guys who did The Vacation. Okay, Flashpoint is not a comedy movie. If this is under the assumption that Warner Brothers and DC are ready and willing to make the Flashpoint we all kind of know. We all kind of know from the DC comics, or even the Flashpoint Paradox animated film. So if we knew that, it's not going to be the Flashpoint that we see, the Flashpoint that we see in the Flash TV series. It's going to be going all out Flashpoint with Thomas Wayne, Wonder Woman. It has everybody in there, all the different parts in that, and actually make a movie out of that. And I think Zack Snyder could do that. If they're ready to go that route, if they're ready to make that jump, make that leap, then Zack Snyder would be the perfect person to do that. They wouldn't mind now that he's using his character as killer, because within the story he does that. He's not changing anything. He's actually adapting a comic series that is already out into the public. Just like how Watchmen was, just like how 300 was, and so on and so forth. So that's my thoughts on it anyway. I really think that it could work, and there is a critic bias against Zack Snyder, so that may actually deter Warner Brothers from actually having him do anything, or maybe he deterred himself. Maybe he's not ready to come back. But with the assumption that they're going to make a Flashpoint the way we think they're going to make Flashpoint, the assumption that they're ready to open up Zack Snyder back, and the assumption that Zack Snyder even wants to do this, then Zack Snyder will be a perfect director, or the perfect person to helm this Flashpoint movie. Anyway, that's my thoughts on that. Let me know, comment down below if you agree with me about Flashpoint, if Zack Snyder should come back or not, or if you even agree that it should be adapted exactly how it was in the graphic novel, or at least the most important elements of that. Alright guys, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.